This is Maddie. I hope you're having a great break, enjoying Christmas in the snow a little bit. This video is just on class attendance, reading, and the assessment. Basically, the three components that are required of our students in order to get credit for each semester there in seminary. These are the three things that they need to be on top of in order to get credit, and you need to be keeping track of in order to give them credit at the end of the semester. So, basically, to pass seminary this semester, it relies on attendance, reading, and the seminary assessment. Attendance means that your kids must be in class for 75% of the days, meaning that each semester they can miss 10 days, but here's the thing. They must be parent excused. If you have a kid who has 9 days, but the parent is refusing to excuse them, they need to be made up. If there is an instance where a parent, you just can't get contact with a parent in order for them to be excused, we do like to run on the edge of mercy instead of judgment difficulties. So if you cannot reach out to a parent, we usually excuse absences. But if a parent specifically says, no, I do not want my kids' absences excused, I want them to make them up, then make sure that you give them the makeup work in order to get that. So they can miss 10 days, must be parent excused. If they're not parent excused, they must do makeup work for them. Or if they're over 10 days, let's say I have a student miss 15 days and their parents excused it, they get 10 of those days excused, but then must do 5 days of makeup work in order to get 75% attendance. Also, as part of that, they must be in class for 75% of class. We start counting tardies after 5 minutes. So if they're late or 5 minutes late, more than 5 minutes late, we mark them tardy. And then after being absent for 20 minutes of class, then we have to mark them absent. This is more of a legal thing than anything. If there's an emergency that happens, we are liable for the kids while they're in seminary. And so let's say a fire happens or something that we hope never does happen. We need to make sure that we are giving a correct count of who was in our room, who was there for the amount of time that they had us, and we were responsible for them. If you have a note, that is your own kind of decision with the kid and having their relationship with them. That's going to be between you and the student going forward. But this is our basic rule as far as attendance and the class. Let me know if you have any questions on that, but we leave that up to your best judgment. All right, you're going to know these kids and their situations better than anyone else. So rely on that. Use that. The next part is required reading. Which we've talked about this before. They're required to finish a certain amount of reading. It's about 10 chapters from the section that is assigned for this semester, so the first half of Doctrine and Covenants. They need to complete Joseph Smith History, D&C 1 through 4, and 8 through 10. They can track their own reading at myseminary.churchofjesuschrist.org. You can put that link up. You can make it into a QR code. You can do whatever, but your kids are aware of this. They should know this. I honestly spend a full half day at the beginning of the semester making sure that every kid is aware of this and also showing them exactly how to get there and making sure they have their login, which I showed you how to find on the WISE, aka our administration portal app. If you need to go back to that video, go ahead and do so. So they'll track their own reading, but you can also manually mark it if needed. But we've also still been encouraged to encourage our students to still have a personal scripture goal, whether that's finishing the Doctrine and Covenants, maybe that's staying with Come Follow Me, maybe that's reading with their family. They need to be pushed to still be in the scriptures and not just think that this is going to get them the kind of testimony that they're going to want. Yes, this is the required reading, but we also want them to have personal goals, personal testimony, building experiences in the scriptures throughout the entire semester. So while that's required, we want to encourage them just the importance of scripture reading and scripture study on their own. Some teachers will spend a day and have the kids write out their own personal goal. It could be, I want to read a page every 2 days, or I want to read 15 verses every day, or I want to read until I learn something, or I want to read until I feel peace. Very simple things, but some teachers will especially do that just to help their kids still be diving into and being familiar with the scriptures and having their own relationship with them as well. Lastly, the seminary assessment. This is new this year, so we full-time seminary teachers are still learning this as well. But basically, these are called Assess Your Learning Days. They are going to be built into the curriculum, and there will be 3 each semester. So 6 total a year, but we're only going to have you guys for a semester. And so if you want a little hint about that, it's in lessons 16, 34, and 54. These Assess Your Learning Days are basically kind of a reflection day, and they're guided. All the questions are in there for you. But basically to help these kids assess what they've been learning in seminary, what they've been learning in the scriptures, and how they want to take that and apply it to their lives. Maybe as they've felt things, as they've been prompted through your class, how can they actually apply and realize what they've been learning and how they can apply it to their lives. In order to get credit for the seminary assessment, aka Assess Your Learning Days, the students must be present and complete one of those full days in order to get credit. If you want a little bit more on this, right here, if you go to our curriculum, this is your seminary curriculum. Oops, sorry, I meant to go to this one. This is your curriculum training. We walked you through this before. If you need step-by-steps on the Gospel Library, you go to Library, Handbooks and Callings, Seminaries and Institutes, and then Curriculum Training. Right here, you're going to click this curriculum training, and then you've already started some of these. We've asked you to do the life prep sections and just kind of get a background on those. There's also, doctoral mastery training, and we're going to send out a video more on that specifically. But lastly is the assessment training. And so if you click this, it walks you through and gives you all you need to know about these assessment days. Basically, the point of them, it goes through all of them, everything you need to know about it, adapting it, changing it, giving course credit, the points of them. But basically, it's like this diagram. It's trying to give kids a target for their own learning and taking self-responsibility for their own spiritual learning. That's what we're trying to do in seminary, is help students become more like Jesus Christ, but also help them create targeted approaches and purposeful responses to what they learn, how they feel the Spirit, and how they can apply that to their lives. So if you want more information on this specific assessment, you have all of this right here in assessment training. But also, if you go to your Doctrine and Covenants Seminary Manual, which you've been going through this whole time, for example, our first Assess Your Learning Day will be lesson 16, where it says Assess Your Learning. And so if you click it, it'll take you through basically what you need to ask them, ways to set up and introduce an assessment day, what they need to be doing in their study journal. Basically, it tells you everything you need to do in order to help them. Me and Tate haven't taught these yet. I honestly think you could probably do this on a half day if you wanted to, or take the first 20-30 minutes of class to take this. Really, I don't think it needs to take a full day, but also I haven't taught it yet. So take that for the grain of rice that it is. If you have any questions, let us know, but these are the things required in order for our students to get credit. Thanks for all you're doing, and we hope you have a great break.